tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, AfterBuzzers. Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV's Ray Donovan After Show. We are here breaking down Season 3, Episode 11, Poker. My name is Isaac Johnson. You can follow me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson and on Instagram, The Isaac Johnson. And once again, joined by the man with the best hair at AfterBuzz, Sean Overman.
Hey, Isaac, thanks for having me once again.
Yeah, man.
You can follow me at Sean Austin O. That's SeanAustino on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, and sadly, we are light one on a couple and one Roxy Stryer that will be back next week. But we are now here in the brand new AfterBuzz TV studios. If anything looked different to you, if you couldn't tell, there's a lot of people that worked really hard to make this a place for us to come and talk about TV to you. So it's fantastic. And Anna and Roxy will be back next week. We'll get the whole group back together. Make sure you head over to youtube.com, AfterBuzz TV, subscribe to the channel, and like this video if you're watching it.
And one of the ways that we keep the lights on in the studio is by telling you about cool new shows that we are going to be watching.
Absolutely. And we want to tell you about the new ABC show, Quantico. Sunday, September 27th, it's a series premiere of ABC's highly anticipated new drama, Quantico. It's where the FBI train the top recruits. Over 100,000 young people apply, and only 1,200 get in. Sean, that's like
1.2%.
It's exactly like 1.2%. They're the smartest, strongest, have the best skills, and now they must live and train together on one roof. But everything changes when a massive terror attack strikes in America. And the FBI discovers its greatest fear, that one of their cops, Quantico's recruits, is a terrorist. No good. Which one of them is behind it all, and which one became a traitor? It's an traitor. It's an edge of your seat drama, and it's twist after twist after twist after twist after. Oh, sorry, got stuck there. Priyanka Chopra stars in one of the television's top news shows for the fall. Don't miss the series premiere of Quantico, Sunday, September 27, 10/9 Central, only on ABC. So, Sean.
Yes, Isaac.
What an episode of Ray Donovan. How'd you feel about it?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
I know we keep saying this every
You
episode.
keep saying it.
I keep saying it. So do Roxy.
Okay, other people say
Anna.
it too. Fair enough.
Yeah, it is this episode 11, Poker, the best episode of this season, and may I even dare say, of Ray Donovan overall.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. High praise of this episode.
That's how good it
so
was.
So you disliked it, is what you're saying.
I did not dislike it at all. Of course.
No, okay, I get what you're saying now.
I did not dislike it.
Oh, okay. That's a double negative. I don't know if that makes any sense. I thought it was a great episode. It's not my favorite of the series, for sure. And of this season, still episode 9 rings pretty home with me. Maybe because of, like I've told you before, like all the brother stuff really kind of hits home for me. But I thought this was great. It was really cool to see the team together. Lena, Avi, and Ray just like surgical up in there.
Yes.
And just kind of finding out a little bit more about Mick. I thought his storyline was pretty cool, actually, and the smartest we've seen him.
Yeah.
And I like a good moment for Daryl, talking to Mick there. And we'll get into, obviously, the specifics here.
Of course.
But let's talk about Mick. Ray had the sort of like genius plan there.
He had the power play over him. He had Drexler, the lawyer, sign over everything to Ray. Ray is the caregiver, the official caregiver for Mickey, and he can't do anything.
And he does not care to give care for him.
No, he doesn't. Yeah. He wants to put him. He's threatening to put him in an old folks' home.
Yeah, or get out of town.
Yeah, or hey, get out of town, Mick. So of course he's going to move to Reno. He ends up telling everybody this episode, and it just everybody's surprised. But it's funny because just 2 episodes ago, people were like hating him. Even Daryl was hating him at the beginning of this episode too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so what do we think about, like, so Ray's got the dealings back and forth with him. You got to get out of town this morning. Okay, you got to get out of town this afternoon. Hey, you better be gone by tonight, man. Like, that's That's what it is. So it's really painting Mick into a corner here, which is the smart part of the storyline to him. When he's, finally like, okay, I'm gonna come clean, kind of, to like, to Connor and Daryl and Bunch, and tell him like, look, I got Alzheimer's and all this stuff. At first, I was looking at that going, okay, he's maybe trying to protect them from the actual truth. Maybe he's kind of sticking up for Ray a little bit here, because he's like, he doesn't want to get Ray in trouble with the family or something to that effect.
They were definitely leading us down that path.
Right.
But then we had Mickey right at the end spun everything to his advantage. And even with the phone call with Ray, everybody teamed up on Ray over the phone.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
Obviously, they ultimately don't know the truth. But, I was starting to kind of really buy it. And I see him, instead of being like, well, look, this is a specific reason why, he's kind of telling the truth here, air quotes. But then I started to write down, does he have a double motive here? Is he setting it up so that Ray looks like the bad guy so he can't move out? Which obviously was the case. But was there at any point were you buying his, obviously we weren't buying the story because we know the truth, but were you buying that he was kind of taking the fall here and making Ray look like the good guy?
I did feel like that. I actually felt like that from when he first started looking at the stuff.
Right.
And I was kind of like half thinking like, okay, maybe he's going to show them and tell everybody the straight up truth.
Right.
Or maybe there was like a little piece of me that was like, okay, maybe he could use this to his advantage in some way and say, look,
right.
Ray's taking advantage of me. But he didn't even do that. So he, at first, when he sits down with everybody at the pool, he ends up saying, hey, I got Alzheimer's, so he's telling the truth so far. And then he gets to the point where, but Ray is telling me to move out, or he's going to put me in a home. He's going to treat me like crap. That's where he spun it, just right there at the end.
Yeah.
And he did it so well, especially with the phone call, that he's guaranteed to stay now. Everybody's on his side.
He gets Connor to make the call. Basically, he does sort of paint it to be like, well, look, I would stay, guys, but, Ray really wants me to go, and he's going to put me in a home, which I think it's funny how they're all like, oh, Ray would never do that. And I'm like, have you guys met Ray? And he's like, well, Ray and I have a complicated relationship.
The funny thing is, I feel like they would put him in a home too if they knew everything that Ray knows. But Ray is trying to protect everyone like he always is trying to do, and because he doesn't tell everybody why he's protecting him, why he's trying to be this shield, this paternalistic figure in the family, now everybody's going to see him as a bad guy.
Right. Well, I think getting Mick out of that trouble is the most he can do personally to help Mick, because he doesn't owe him anything. We know this, but I think him conceiving this plan, like, I got you out of trouble, but I don't want you in my life. It's a very specific boundary that he's trying to draw there. Of course, Mick doesn't want to leave.
He's not abiding by the agreement that him and Ray
exactly.
had.
He's not respecting the boundary.
He has no honor.
Yeah, not in that. But
but then again, at the same time, he's his father, right? He probably thinks he knows best.
Yeah, maybe he thinks that. But why? Okay, so why would Daryl? Daryl was like, ready to write him off. So was Bunch at the wedding. Don't ruin this moment for me. We had that moment. Connor, I don't know if Connor has a reason to necessarily want him to go, but it seems like both of them have pretty strong cases. Is there any real reason other than just that?
I feel like Connor was he was definitely more on Mickey's side, but I feel like he was on the fence just for a little bit if Mickey didn't handle the situation with Connor and Cindy that well, the prostitute that Connor slept with.
Gives him that great advice.
Yeah.
Stay away from sex workers till you're older. Great advice, Grandpa.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like if he handled that in a different way, if he said like, I'm sorry, son, like you can't do anything about it because she's a prostitute. That's just the way she is. If he just left it at that, then Connor probably would have been mad at him like, Grandpa, you didn't protect me. Like, what's going on here? Like, I thought this girl like really liked me. Then he would have not been on his side at all. But just that little domino, just him being on his side, tipped over everybody else.
And this is what I like about it. We've got Ray here, who's like he's the fixer. He's a genius at this stuff. He knows where to put pressure, where to not put pressure. And you kind of see maybe just a little bit that he's gotten that from Mick, because Mick seems to know how to manipulate people in just the right ways, and specifically Connor, since we're talking about him, to get them to kind of like, make their own choice. But, the suggestion was planted there by him. And I got to think that he put that he knows what he's doing. To some degree, he gets lucky. But I think that ultimately he knows if I just apply enough pressure, and then you also have Connor telling him, telling Ray that, you don't talk to me like Grandpa does. And it's true. Mm-hmm. It's a very true point. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I feel like Ray's never there. That's the number one thing.
Right.
And the only things that he's learned from Ray is he's seen him, or he knows about him beating people up.
Yeah.
So that's what Connor takes away from it. And Connor only knows those like base animal instincts, those aggressive actions,
Sure.
like having sex with women, right?
I
He
mean,
pounced on Cindy.
by the way, Mick did say like, "Oh, your first time" or something to that effect. So I think we debated like whether he had sex before, but
That was his first time.
I think it was with the lady of the night.
Yeah, and and it was setting it up this whole season for that to happen.
Yeah.
Because we had him wanting that one girl that came over to the house when he was throwing that party, and we saw his aggressive tendencies there. That's one of the other few things that he's learned from Ray.
Yeah.
But he gets all this weird advice from Grandpa about how to handle social relationships,
Right.
and it's not the best advice from an ex-con, someone who spent 20 years in prison.
Yeah, and also not someone who's got like bunch. Make sure you pack that box of my porn.
Yeah.
We've been through a lot together.
Those porno tapes and I have been through a lot. Great advice.
Oh, I don't want to know.
Man. Jeez.
But so Bunch and Teresa get back from their honeymoon. He's also given Bunch there some advice about like how to like handle his marriage and how to like keep the upper hand and like stay dominant and all this kind of stuff.
Which was bad too. I feel like Bunch can be a good husband.
Yeah.
If he's just like on his own. He doesn't need anybody else to be taking care of him. I think him and Teresa have a good relationship.
I think so.
They have a good thing going. Mickey doing that's like planting a little like weed in the wheat field.
Sure.
It's not the best thing to do.
I think that Mick thinks he's honestly giving good advice though. I don't think that he's trying to mess them up. But we've kind of set up Terry this season to kind of really step out on his own, sort of shake off the shackles of even his brother, Ray, who really loves him, to control him, make a lot of his own decisions. I don't think that Bunch will. By the way, Brendan is what we should be calling him now. That's what Teresa says we should call him. But I don't think that he will take that to heart. But we saw like a sort of a larger thing sort of emerging for Brendan, that
they got a truck.
They got a truck, and the reason they got that truck is so they can fill it with kids.
Wow.
And you see that worried look on his face there, like, oh.
On Brendan's face.
Yeah, like I don't know, am I ready to be a father?
Yeah.
I mean, he's still got a lot of his past to deal with.
That's right, and he had so much confusion before about taking care of the kid last season, which was
he did.
awful. But I feel like if he raised his own kids, he would be used to them, and he would know what's appropriate and what's not, and how to treat them. And I think that he could avoid those actions and eventually become a good father.
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
Yeah, well, I doubt that he would, as a father, do anything to his child or anything like that. I don't think they're setting that up, but I think it is some good character stuff to just set up that, like, as he is now, like, becoming his own man, and he's married and has a wife, and they went on their nice little honeymoon there, and they like to talk to each other in a certain way,
They didn't even say where they went, did they?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Where do you think they went? Palm Springs?
Yeah, it had to be somewhere local. Couldn't have been too far.
Maybe San Diego or
Maybe San Diego.
San
Hey,
Pedro.
those are lovely places for a honeymoon or a getaway with your spouse. But I like that they're just creating a little bit of, like, as he's kind of stepping out on his own there, like, oh man, am I really ready for, family and all that kind of stuff? Like, he doesn't have any good examples at home.
What is Bunch? He's in his late 30s, I want to say.
Yeah,
so
probably. I mean,
should be.
They're all around that sort of late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, but I guess he's still mentally, he's not as mature.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely not as mature as Ray or Terry.
Yeah, well, and he's never, like you said, he's never made any of these kind of decisions on his own. And now that he realizes the buck stops there and that she wants a family, and he's, probably gonna have to give that to her. That, like, oh man, I really got to be ready. Am I ready? I think it's cool just to have the character question that, but I think that he would be ready for that if that came along. Okay, so that speech with Daryl to Mick. This is what I wanted, nearly in the entire season.
Totally told him off.
Yes.
And he's kind of edged towards that before, but I like the way he said it now. Like, I can't even remember exactly what he said, but he said, Pop, all I've wanted is just for you to respect me.
He says that, like, you know what I want? Because he's, talking to him about, like, Michelle ran off, didn't give me any coffee, which, I mean, I guess at least she did get him coffee. Yeah.
She took the rest of his money and took the damn
his money
car.
Like he was a John or something like
his
that.
His car that he inherited.
Yeah, well, that he made sure he inherited. But he says, look, you know what I want? I want a normal life. I want like a job or money in the bank or something like that. And these are all the things that he deserves. And I'd like him finally standing up to him and be like, I don't know why I've been trusting you. Because Mick's now got this idea that I'm going to run off to Reno and like give the bunny ranch like a run for its money.
Jeez, Mick just doesn't get it through his thick skull. You can't stop being a criminal when you're in your 70s.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, you got to kind of like a little bit respect that he is like, well, look, yeah, I can take them on, sure. Like that's who that character is. He doesn't think through things, but I think that he probably thinks, yeah, how hard could it be? Probably pretty tough, dude. I don't know.
But Daryl does such a flip, though, from going from that scene where he totally tells him off, and you and I were looking at each other from across the table.
Finally.
We're like, yeah, go Daryl.
Stand up, man.
Yeah, stand up. Kick your dad's butt, maybe. But he ends up leaving, and I feel like everybody just has amnesia, but that's the character flaws that they all have with Mickey, is that they hate him, and then they love him. Just because they just have such short-term memory.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Mickey spun the whole thing in his... into his favor.
Yeah, well, because Mick even says that thing to Ray, after he bamboozles him, and he comes back over to be like, look, I'm not going to leave because like you're either going to be the guy that sent me to the old folks home when I'm sick, which we know he's not sick, or you're going to tell them the truth. And that was actually pretty smart. You know what I mean? And
I feel like even though we all want Mickey to leave, there's no way he's going to leave now because he has too much dynamic with the rest of the family, especially Ray.
Yeah.
And even though we wanted Ray to do what he did to force Mickey to move out, and it's like, okay, there's not going to be any problems. If we did that, then there wouldn't be so much entertaining stuff happening on this show if Mickey was gone.
Yeah. I mean, like in real life, I want him out of there. But on the show, I don't want him to leave.
No.
He's too entertaining. He's too good. And he also makes that really cool point to Ray, like, look, you know the reason why they want me around? Because, what does he say? There's something specific about, like, the reason they want me around is either because of the way I talk to them, and, gosh, can you remember?
I can't remember. It's something to the effect of, you treat everybody, I got it. You treat everyone like they're smaller, you make them feel small.
Right.
That's why they don't want you, Ray, they want me. That's why I need to be here.
I mean, in some ways, like, Mick just kind of, like, feeds their, like, delusion of who he is. And that sort of thing, but he makes a good point that Mick, in some ways, like tells everyone what they want to hear. I mean, Ray does have to be, he's had to be the father to his brothers, because their father wasn't around, and he's had to be more stern with them. But maybe there's some lesson that Ray can learn in here about how he deals with them. I mean, obviously he's always got so much going on, he doesn't really have time to be there, but. And that way, like, Mick is there for them, even if he's leading them down like a broken path.
I feel like there's only one solution here.
What is that?
He's got to push Mickey into the pool.
I don't think he'd kill him.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
but hey, he hired Sully Sullivan to do it.
Yeah, he did.
And it was about to happen. But then Mickey saved his ass.
Yeah, he did.
So we owed him one.
Yeah, he did owe him one. But that was, like that little checkmate scene there, when they're standing by the pool.
That was really good.
That was a nice little thing. I'm like, you got to give it to Mick. He really did kind of mastermind the situation there. He preyed upon everyone's sympathy.
Ray's
and he got what he wanted. And he
does
have to stay there. That's why Ray walks out like,
he's got him.
Right. You got me.
He's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way.
Yeah, there's no way for him to have to leave. It's kind of like, kind of like, tip your cap to him, like, oh man,
gosh,
you really did get him there.
Yeah.
Oh man. So let's talk about Abby and Terry.
Oh man.
And the kiss.
And so last episode we had Abby wanting some attention. Ray wasn't there. She was mad at Ray. We have Terry come into the room, and he's like, I think he was like stroking her hair or whatever.
Yeah.
She was seated down. You saw the scenes from last episode, right? And she brushes her head up against his hand more, and then maybe even moves back. On the set, it was back towards Terry's penis, perhaps. So like, it's getting awkward. But
maybe she didn't know. She couldn't see behind her.
Yeah, and then that's where he was like, I gotta go. So now we escalate even more. They're washing dishes together, and he makes that one comment.
Yeah, about his father, how he didn't realize how beautiful his mother was.
Exactly, and that just led it to Abby thinking like, oh, he's like calling me beautiful right now.
Yeah, well, she probably hasn't heard that often.
Yeah.
And then
it's because Ray never talks.
Yeah, he didn't talk much. But okay, so
she kissed him on the cheek at first, right?
kissed him on the cheek at first. I mean, okay, so I can kind of understand to some degree how their caring for each other would get kind of confusing, especially with Ray not being in the home. You know, Abby's calling out Ray about all this stuff with Paige, her coming over to the house, all that kind of stuff. And she knows her man. You know, she knows who he is.
She knows.
Don't pretend like you haven't slept with her, is the way I'll say it on the show. But
she knows his stink, and she knows when he's got somebody else's stink.
And it's real. You know, like I mean, like it's kind of like he doesn't answer her, but
no, he doesn't because he did it. He's guilty.
Yeah, he did do it. So, but
if he just resisted that one time, because they only did it once, right?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, she did put the pressure on him a couple of times.
Yeah.
I mean, you still say no, Ray, but obviously creates drama on the show, so that's what happens. But like I said, I can understand them confusing, but the moment they had that kiss, I'm like, I mean, obviously Terry stops it.
Yeah,
Terry stops it. It doesn't go further. It almost looked like it was gonna go further.
I feel like I was biting my knuckle when that was happening.
Oh man, I was white knuckling that whole scene because I was like, oh, you're not really gonna do this. Come on, Terry, that's your.
That's his sister-in-law.
It's his sister-in-law, and I mean, I'm not saying that this is like a bad writing choice or anything like that, because I think it is.
It's perfect.
I think it does make a lot of sense.
He's always there. He's obviously taking the role of being the father. He's talking to Bridget. He's talking to Bridget when she's leaving. He
calls her out on her lie.
And he calls Abby right away and tells her what's going on. Ray should be doing those things. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying that's why Abby is so much more attracted to Terry now. And she's being pushed towards him, and he's being pulled towards her. Yeah,
so that's why I'm saying it makes sense that the confusion would be there. I mean, people in sort of like even like close work relationships or something like that, you know, when they have all that familiarity and a lot of past like history and whatnot, you know, your emotions can lead you to a bad place or make you make a decision that you wouldn't otherwise make. Because I don't think that Terry or Abby, for that matter, especially with his brother or with his sister-in-law, would make that decision. But I think the both of them have been lonely. I mean, yes, Ray is sort of reconciling their relationship and being sweeter to her, but there's a whole history to make up for. You can't just make up for it in a couple of weeks or however long it's been.
We have Terry wanting to beat up Don Ellen. We have Terry playing video games with Connor. We have Terry cleaning the house. Yeah. He's doing everything that a man should help out with in the house.
You're a married fellow, so am I. Like, when you do those things around the house,
they make a big difference.
They pay in dividends later, if you know what I mean,
they sure
right?
Do.
So he's doing all the things that, like, essentially, you know, for lack of a better term, turn her on.
And Ray never does those because he's gone early in the morning,
paying her the compliments too, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like
and Ray just wouldn't like it. Ray just comes back late at night if he ever comes back, and most of the time he's sleeping on the couch because he's in the doghouse.
Yeah, where's the dog, by the way?
Yeah, where is Dog?
Have you seen Dog?
Haven't seen him. The big ugly dog.
Yeah, he's a cute dog.
Yeah, he is.
I like that dog a lot. So Abby, you know, finally has a great moment with Bridget. I mean, you know, obviously Terry called her. She's going over to Don Ellen's house, you know. The storyline.
Bridget was just this was the perfect storm for Bridget because we already had her doing the conversation. We had Terry and Abby both, or even Ray. Ray was there in the morning and they were trying to get it out of her. But Abby knew, hey, I can't do this in front of Ray.
It's a dangerous thing to let Ray know this information.
Oh, yeah, because Ray will definitely go there and beat the hell out of Don Ellen.
He's done it before, so there's no reason to think he wouldn't. Because even when Bridget's talking to Terry, and you know, if my dad finds out, I don't think did she kill him or beat him up or something like that.
Probably. But she goes there to Don Ellen's house, and she keeps pleading with him. But I love you. Yeah, we haven't slept together, but I still love you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, which Don Ellen does not say I don't, which is obviously exactly what he should say. She's 17. I don't care when she's going to be 18.
But if he does that, it might push her over the edge to make her do more crazy stuff, right?
Yeah, maybe. But
what if she like starts implicating him on stuff, and then she could really get him thrown in jail?
Maybe. I don't know if he's specifically afraid of that, but the thing he says is, I can't.
Yeah.
Not that I don't, but I can't.
Because she's not 18 yet.
Yeah, well, because even when she throws that at him, he's like, he doesn't seem to necessarily respond to that.
Because then it's gonna lead to other things. Of course, if he responds, it's gonna give her hope, and then she's gonna want to keep coming back.
If he truly wants to, not get fired for at the very least, and have like a normal adult relationship would be a great idea, fella. He could have just said, like that scene in Good Will Hunting when like she's like, just tell me you don't love me, and he looks in his face and says, I don't. This is what the guy needed to do.
He should have done it.
But he instead of doing that, he says, I can't, which leaves the door open.
Yes, it does. Just like he always does, like the physical door to his house.
This time he shut the door, which thank God, because Abby shows up.
Yeah. Well, did he see Abby roll up and then shut the door?
I don't think he did.
Okay.
I think he was just done with her.
Good. So he did it on his own
just
accord.
in the nick of time.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give him that, even though just say no, man. Come on. But so Abby shows up, and this is probably, I wish Anna was here to talk about this, because her racing over there to get her daughter, she knows exactly where she is, she knows where she's going, and being like, what are you thinking? Like that to me is the most mothering moment that she's had maybe on this entire series. Do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Total wake-up call for not only for Abby, but for Bridget too. Where she knows she can't do these things anymore.
Yeah.
She can't punch her classmates, so-called friends, in the face.
Poor Alicia Bowe.
Yeah, poor Alicia Bowe. I want to talk to her about that scene.
Yeah, we'd probably tweet her or something.
Yeah, but she can't punch her friends. She can't keep getting bad grades and then getting the grades bumped up because Dawn Ellen's her teacher. She can't keep doing these things. She can't keep taking all these downers and like painkillers or whatever with Dawn Ellen.
She's on his Xanax or whatever.
Yeah, no, his Oxycontin.
Oxycontin.
Even worse.
Yeah.
So she knows now that she can't do all this stuff without consequences, and Abby is taking a foothold in her motherhood.
Yeah, which is exactly what she should be doing. This was like, man, stand-up moment for Daryl. Great moment for Abby, finally.
And Terry.
Well,
Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl did stand up to Mickey, and this is now like Abby's, hey, step in there. Like, maybe she's not going to like you for a little while, but who cares?
That's the way teenagers are.
Yeah, you're protecting her future, and I loved to see it. A great moment for Paula Malcolmson. I think TVLine.com said that it was like her week or something. Like, they picked her for like Actress of the Week or something like that, which was great. Just really fun to see.
Go Paula!
Yeah, there you go. So she's talking to Ray. I mean, we kind of covered this a little bit, but she's talking to Ray. Oh, your girlfriend. She's not my girlfriend, Abs.
Yeah.
Says it in a little more colorful way than I did. But like we were saying, like, I like that she knows.
Yeah. She's smart. She's getting smarter this season, which is great.
Well, it's just great. It's just good to see
an evolution in her character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Development.
Absolutely. Let's take a quick little break to talk about iTunes.
Yeah, sure.
Folks, head over to iTunes and find our Ray Donovan After Show for AfterBuzz TV. Give us a rating and review. AfterBuzz TV has a brand new studio, thanks to you getting ratings and reviews for our shows and sponsors, helping us out, helping us keep the lights, and get a new studio. You're doing a fantastic job. We have over 100 hours of content every week, and it really helps out the show and network, obviously, as you can see in this new space, to keep things running here. And if you do, we'll give you a shout out on the show. We didn't have any new ratings and reviews this week, but you get some stuff from the YouTube.
Yes, I do, Isaac. We have Brown Love 6. She or he said, I think Terry is filling the missing connection void that Abby has been looking for the past few seasons, and you're absolutely
Spot
right.
on.
Yeah, so we've been talking about that all night. It's so obvious that things are still going to develop more because now they haven't gotten caught. So I feel like next episode,
we got to deal with it.
Yeah, next episode we got to deal with it. Ray is probably going to catch them, or maybe Abby is going to I know this is not really a prediction, but Abby's going to blab about it in some way. Like, oh, Terry's always there, you're never there. Something like that.
Yeah, what was it? By the way, your Boston accent there. Can't do it. By the way, I just like when Terry's like, that never happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll save it for the end of the show. We'll save it for the end of the show, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But we also had Richie B say the former FBI agent is a great character, a.k.a. Cochran, right? He is a great character.
Chief Wiggum.
Yeah, he plays Chief Wiggum. Does he also play Mo Sislak, too?
Yeah, he does a couple of voices.
Yeah, he does a lot of the Simpsons characters.
I love Hank Azaria.
Yeah, he's great. And he is so fit, man. That guy.
Yeah, he's in shape, man.
Yeah, he's in super shape. He looks as buff as Avi.
I bet he lifts, bro.
Yeah, he was dressed the same as Avi last episode. And
was he?
And I liked how he put his voice acting skills into use because he did an accent.
Right. Yeah.
He did an accent when he broke into Avi's storage.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was great. He never killed the girl last season. Avi did. Ray ratted him out for no reason. No wonder why he hates Ray. So
I don't know what girl we're talking about.
We're talking about the reporter from who's in Washington
maybe he's talking about
or Boston.
They didn't pin that on him. They basically they let the sort of cat out of the bag that he was sleeping with one of his coworkers' wives, and that was taped.
Yeah.
And that kind of took care of itself. That's not Ray like necessarily doing. I mean, it's not good for him to do it, but that's just Ray getting rid of him in a way. So.
Yeah, because he was breathing down his neck. He was trying to use Ray all the time for everything, even though he had that over him. But I'm glad that Ray did it.
Yeah, he bested him.
And I guess he did kind of do it for revenge, but it's because Ray's such a good, in a way, he's such a good guy, and he wants to protect people. He protected a woman who he cared about.
Yeah, he did. He did that. Wasn't his wife.
Even though she died, she was already dead.
Yeah, well, that's that's an obvious thing. But yeah, I don't think he tried to pin that on Cochran.
No.
Gosh, I was going to call him Wiggum again. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. By the way, great character. Good comment there, Richie.
Charlie Boy 1892 said in the clip for episode 11, Paige says, "Ray, you think that's all I care about? The guy should really take a hint. She wants him. Ha ha ha. She wants him bad." But I feel like Paige obviously wants Ray. She does. One way or the other, But I thought it was interesting how this episode we had Finney and Paige having that conversation at the pool, saying that they were grooming Ray to be the next Varric.
Yeah, I just saw that. I mean, I saw that being Finney. I mean, obviously he's trying to. I mean, he rats on Ray. Ray didn't do it, but he throws him under the bus there, and he's trying to wrap up that. He's trying to wrap up that piece to have her basically go and corroborate his story.
Right.
But ultimately, what happens is that Ray is like
he got to Paige first.
He gets to Paige.
Well, he got to her after, actually.
Yeah, he gets to her after, right before she's about to go testify, to LAPD there. But I think that he brings up some really good points that like. Do you really think he's going to give you what you want? I think that's kind of what he was trying to say.
Yeah,
there.
and of course, Finney's not.
Do you really think that he's manipulating you here, and that's a very smart for Ray because he knows that that's part of their relationship is manipulation, and he gets to her in a way that like, you don't think he'll throw you under the bus too? Yeah. I didn't do this, and she, of course she's like, I know you didn't.
Mm-hmm. And she hates her father more than she hates Ray.
Yeah,
in fact, she doesn't hate Ray. She loves him.
Yeah, in fact, she's like, you think that's all I want, But I think that's really smart for him to play her in that way because really, she just goes in there and tells the truth. Yeah. I mean, except for the part that she was there when it happened.
Yeah,
but
totally lied about that.
Yeah, she did lie about that. But ultimately. She won't have him be put away, one, because she cares about him, but also to get back at her father. I mean, it's really smart for Ray. This is Ray's, seeing where to apply the pressure, and use, not necessarily use her, but keep himself out of trouble. Any thoughts?
Yeah, keep himself afloat. I feel like this is. It was a really good play by Ray, and it's a really messy situation that Finney is going to have to clean up because that body is burning in his dumpster in his backyard.
Yeah, I think he's burnt there.
He got burned.
Yeah,
good pun.
Sick burn, bro.
Yeah. But there's no way he's going to clean up that body. Like the DNAs, even though it's going to be charged.
The sirens are wailing. They're on the way right now. There's no way for him to get out of it. Plus,
the poker's in there too.
Yeah, I don't think he'd even know how to get it out of the situation.
No. He probably can't. He's not tall enough to reach into that damn dumpster.
Maybe not, but it's too late. Plus, it's on fire. How's he gonna get in there? But okay, so we have, we're talking about Cochran a little bit. We got him back. We got him.
I like the dynamics between Ray and the new LAPD detective Jeff Baker.
Yeah, Jeff Baker. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. He seems like someone who's good at antagonizing Ray, and someone who would be good at following him around. Like maybe in the coming seasons or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I like that the LAPD didn't believe Finney's story. We know he's dirty. We don't have anything on him, but I don't know if I really believe this story. But they probably been looking to get Ray there too. But man, really cool to see the team together, Avi and Lena. That whole thing with, one, it was just funny to see Cochran's like, what are you going to do? Shoot me? Shoot them in the leg. Of course I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah, that was great, man.
And also with the bat there, still antagonizing Ray. By the way, when you've been shot in the leg and you're tied up and he's putting pressure on that leg and Avi's like talking about, I got bolt cutters. Yeah. Maybe not the best time to antagonize Ray Donovan because he's got that bat there and he will use it. There's no way he wasn't going to. I was like, batter up. Here we go.
Did Cochran say, my testicles always get me in trouble? Go ahead and remove them?
Yeah.
That was great.
A smart little character insight on himself there. Like, Look, man, I've gotten myself into a bunch of trouble already. Which, by the way, he's got like magazines of like bondage still around his.
Oh my gosh, that's right. He's still a twisted effer.
Yeah, well, let's not judge too much there, Sean. But he's into some alternative lifestyle.
But he's definitely having a struggle with that because last episode we had him, or 2 episodes ago, we had him doing those affirmations to himself, which was funny.
That's the thing that got him in trouble. But I mean, him like the poker's at your place. How you gonna get out of this, Ray? I'm like, you know how they're gonna get out? The team, man. This is our A team here. Avi and Lena.
This is Batman, Robin, and Batgirl status to the max.
I'll back you up this episode. Yeah, it absolutely was because one, Avi's gonna go there and do the dirty work, digging up Eric. Oof, brutal stuff.
Man, with the face mask on too.
Yeah, well, at least so you can't breathe in the fumes from the dead body.
And then they threw Cochran in the back.
No mask for him.
No mask for him. Let him suffer a little bit.
Yeah. But Ray getting that thing, this was like so much great just drama and tension that they're building into the show. I mean, it's always been in the show, but having that happen right there and then him drop the thing out the window and then, on the motorcycle, that was so cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, man, it was awesome to see. It was just like, man, I didn't like when our team was apart. I mean, obviously they had to do it, but, at the beginning of the season, but I really like our team being together here because they're so sharp. Any other thoughts about them? There's a lot that we didn't cover here.
No, I think that's it. I know we're running short on time.
Yeah, we are running short on time. So let's go ahead and head into some news and gossip first.
AFTERBUZZ TV News.
So sadly, folks, the Emmys were this weekend, and Liev Schreiber did not win Best Actor in a drama series. It was Jon Hamm. Jon Hamm did a great job this season of Mad Men, as he's done the whole time. And there's always next year, Liev Schreiber. Don't worry, but especially this season, it was a nomination based on season 2. Season 3, I think, has been a stronger season for especially acting for Liev Schreiber. So I think even if you just submitted like episode 9 or something like that, so I can easily see him getting nominated again.
Yeah, so he's going to be nominated again, and I really hope that he wins next year.
I could easily see it happening, at least a nomination. But there's always stiff competition. But he's still a great actor. There's nobody saying that he's not. Also, Leonardo DiCaprio and writer Brett Johnson, writer for Ray Donovan, are in talks or in development for a new Mafia series based in the 1980s. Kind of sounds like maybe Whitey Bulger, maybe something like that. So that is probably coming to your TV at some point in time. Let's go ahead and predict, Sean.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV prediction.
What you got, man?
Well, I'm kind of dry this episode. I just want to say that Ray's going to kill somebody next episode, and I feel like it might be Don Ellen. I don't know, maybe not kill, maybe just shoot him.
Really?
Threaten him to get away from his daughter, because it looked like from the teaser that we saw, spoiler alert, guys, that we had Bridget shirtless. She had a bra on, but she was in a hotel room, it looks like, and she was on somebody, probably Don Ellen. She probably roped him into getting a hotel room. Eek.
Creep. I hate it.
You can't get it out of your mind, can you?
I hate it so much.
I know.
Please don't.
Well, that's Ray's divine retribution is going to come about.
Yeah, well, we got him confessing, so the priest is going to come back. Obviously, it's our last episode. We got to tie up all these storylines.
Or leave something for next season.
But I feel like we're going to... That's got to be Don Ellen there in the hotel room with Bridget. Don't like it at all. We got Ray confessing. Obviously, so Finney goes to jail, right? There's no way for him to get out of this.
Or he's going to die some way. Maybe self-defense on Ray's part.
Maybe, but then, I mean, obviously the police are showing up right then. I think that they just arrest him. He's got all the evidence right there.
Unless he gets out on bail and he goes after Ray.
Yeah, but if you're up for murder, can you just get out on bail? I mean, Paige already told the story and told them where to get the body.
Yeah, that's
Seems
true.
like it's pretty airtight, at least to like... he'd be under like house arrest at the least or something.
Yeah, well, hey, it could happen in the house.
And I'm still okay. So I said that I would eat my shoe if Terry and Abby happened. Technically,
it happened.
Technically, it hasn't really happened. I'm gonna say that it goes no further.
You don't want them to get in bed together, pretty much.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, I think the kiss, they were confused, happened. But I can see it going no further. I think that Terry is too strong of a character to let that happen. And really, man, Ray's life is messed up enough as it is. Do we really need
his brother
and sister, like, I don't know, running away together or something like that? Brother and wife, sorry. Also, I think that Michelle's not gone. I think we're going to see Michelle back for one more episode. That's my guess.
You know what? I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so. Because also, I really like that relationship for Daryl there. And also like the actress Krista Williams came in here. She was great.
Yeah, she was awesome.
And I think it would be really cool to see her on the show for one more episode because she does a great job. Well, I think that's it, Sean. Where can people find you online?
Well, you guys can find me at Sean Austin O on Twitter and Instagram, and be sure to look out for my book, City of Angels and Discontent. I just sent it to my copy editor for the second round of edits, and maybe I'll release it next week, maybe in the next couple of weeks. I'm not too sure yet.
It's coming out this year.
I'm going to release it on the iBookstore. Be sure to look out for it, City of Angels and Discontent.
He going to release it, and I'm going to get my first copy of that. Folks, you can follow me at The Isaac Johnson on Instagram. Also, follow Cocktail Cinema. That's my movie discussion show where a friend and I discuss the film over cocktails. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next week for the final episode. Have a good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.